Psychology says some children don't lose their childhood suddenly, they outgrow it quietly. No one tells them they are becoming an adult. They just realize one day that someone has to be responsible, someone has to stay calm, someone has to hold everything together, and somehow that someone becomes them.
They don't lose their childhood because they grow older. They lose it because life forces them to become the adult in the room too soon. And the scary part is, they usually get praised for it.
1. Early responsibility. Psychologists call this parentification. This happens when a child is expected to carry emotional or practical responsibility before they are ready. Maybe they had to comfort a parent. Maybe they had to take care of siblings. Maybe they had to stay quiet so the house did not fall apart. The brain adapts by suppressing needs. They learn to stay calm, solve problems, and act mature. But they also learn that their feelings come last. They were not born strong. They became strong because there was no other option.
2. Survival independence. Developmental psychology shows that children who cannot rely on consistent support often develop early self-reliance. They stop asking for help. They stop expecting comfort. They stop believing someone will come save them. So they handle everything alone, even when they should not have to. As adults, they may look capable, calm, and independent, but inside, support feels unsafe. Kindness feels temporary, and depending on someone feels like a risk. They are not avoiding help because they don't need it. They are avoiding help because they learned not to trust it.
3. Split maturity. Psychology explains that when emotional development is rushed, some parts of a child grow up too early, while other parts stay unmet. So they may become wise, serious, and responsible, but inside, they still feel confused, guilty, or emotionally hungry. They know how to take care of others, but they don't always know how to let others take care of them. They know how to be useful, but they don't always know how to be vulnerable. This is why people who grew up too fast can feel older than their age and younger than their pain at the same time. They matured in survival, but they were delayed in safety. 4. Uneasy rest. People who grew up too fast often struggle to relax, not because they love being busy, but because rest feels unfamiliar. When they were young, calm did not always mean safety. Sometimes calm meant waiting for the next problem, so their nervous system stayed alert. Psychology calls this chronic stress adaptation. The body learns to stay ready, even when there is no danger. So when life becomes quiet, they feel uneasy. When they are not helping, they feel useless. When they are not needed, they feel guilty. They don't rest easily because their brain was trained to survive through responsibility. 5. Guilt for needing support. Attachment psychology shows that early responsibility can create a painful belief. If someone takes care of me, I am becoming a burden. So they minimize their needs. They apologize for asking. They feel guilty for resting. They feel uncomfortable receiving care. Even when someone genuinely wants to help, it does not feel comforting at first. It feels strange. It feels unsafe. It feels like they owe something back. Because as a child, love may have felt connected to usefulness. So now, being cared for without performing feels unfamiliar. 6. Guarded empathy. Growing up too fast can make a child extremely emotionally aware. They notice tone changes, they sense mood shifts, they anticipate conflict before it happens. They can read people quickly because they had to. Psychology calls this hypervigilance. It means the nervous system is constantly scanning the environment for emotional danger. This can make them deeply empathetic, but it can also make them guarded. They care a lot, but they protect themselves while caring. They understand people deeply, but they do not always let people understand them, because they learned early that caring without boundaries can cost too much.
If you grew up too fast, psychology does not call you broken. It says your nervous system adapted to pressure early. You learned responsibility before safety, strength before softness, awareness before innocence, and independence before trust. But healing does not mean becoming weak. It means learning that you no longer have to earn rest. You no longer have to prove your worth by being useful. You no longer have to hold everything together alone. You are allowed to need support. You are allowed to be cared for. You are allowed to stop carrying weight that was never meant for a child. Because growing up too fast may explain why you became this way, but it does not have to decide who you become next. Did you grow up responsible for more than a child ever should? And are you still carrying that weight today?